The summers in Japan are really hot, as it is an island surrounded by water, so once it heats up, it gets pretty humid, and if you're not at work, it's not a bad idea to stay inside, and there's a few things you could do indoors, and one of those things could be playing Brawlhalla. And after all your time staying inside, you might get good enough to want to join a community tournament, and if you get good enough at community tournaments, you might want to play in a few big Brawlhalla tournaments. And for Japan, it's a special case, because we don't know much about Japan as a region, but luckily, I have contacts who can help me learn about Japan as a region. So, Japan is a special case in the Brawlhalla community because not only is Japan one of the most dominant regions in fighting game history, but we also don't get to see them a lot in Brawlhalla, other than US West players who randomly run into someone with a name like Toshiya. And for those of you who don't spend your entire day researching stuff about Japan, I'll let you know that 3 years ago, the Japan servers were introduced by Blue Mammoth Games, and even before that, the Japan scene was already growing as they played on the SEA servers, so China and other Asian countries' servers. And only just recently did we get to see Japanese players finally compete in a sizable money pool for the Japan Invitational, where they invite the top 32 of Japanese players. And it was only 3 years ago that they got their own servers. And one of the first people to discover Brawlhalla before these servers were even created was Eric. And in short, he acted as the dough brain of the Japanese scene. If you didn't know, dough brain was responsible for making YouTube videos, guides, and educating anyone who was into the game how to get better and learn combos and the basics of Brawlhalla. However, the language barrier for Japan couldn't really work with Doughbrain, as Doughbrain's videos were in English. So Eric not only would make videos on his YouTube channel, but he also created an entire wiki page that is no longer active, but explaining the game of Brawlhalla to grow its player base before there even was a server for his own country. And I like to think of Japan as a hidden gem or something really cool, because it can be annoying to enjoy something like Brawlhalla for the first time, and when you bring it up to someone, you're like, hey, I really enjoy playing Brawlhalla, it's this fun game. They're like, oh, that Smash clone? Oh, just go play Multiverses instead. It gets kind of annoying. So in Eric's case, it was a relatively small start, so not many people knew of the game or its competitive scene. And in the beginning, it was not only just Eric, but it was Eric, D4R, and Yohei Kong. Just to give reference for how long these guys have been playing the game, Eric and Yohei knew each other when they were still in the Platinum ranks, and together they formed a clan known as the Japan Monsters, which seems to be the earliest version of a semi-pro clan in Japan. So, something I found interesting when watching the Japan Invitational was the quick judgments from other players. When I was showing an incredible win rate Compton, a Japan pro, had in the ranked queue versus another highly ranked player, they wrote it off because it was just in the Japan region. And I think it's unfair to judge these players based on what little we got to see at the Invitational. I think it's also unfair to judge a region that can't really compete against America and Europe, and therefore because of that fact that they're not good. Japan has that same problem of that to Australia, where they are knocked down for not having competed against America or Europe yet. And a good example of this not being true is in Apex Legends, an all-Australian roster dominated all of 2022 online and in LAN performances. And all of this, of course, relates back to the timeline in Japan, because when the Scary Monsters clan was forming, an upcoming player named KS Time took note of this and formed his own clan, the Nice Combo Clan. And you may or may not be wondering, why should I care about this Nice Combo Clan? Well, the Nice Combo Clan consists of KS Time, Compton, and Phaeton, who also just so happened to get first place, second, and third at the Japan Invitational. It's also not so wise to write this group of players off just yet, because say if this Brawlhalla tournament hopefully had some success in bringing in new Japanese players, we could see something incredible to the likes of when Zachary, a Pro Smash Ultimate player, came to America and performed excellently well in a brand new country. And from my understanding from talking to Japanese pros and just people who've been watching the scene for a while, KS Time was viewed as the player on another level. KS Time was viewed as a Japanese Sandstorm of some sorts. The only issue being, KS Time did not win this tournament. He didn't even get second in this tournament. First, he was defeated by Compton, and then by Phaeton. And to be honest, I can't really find a clear reason why. Now, obviously, I've gone back and watched all these players play their sets pretty extensively, and I can say Phaeton has great movement, and I can say Compton is very unexpected and doesn't really respect traditional rules of fighting games, but I can't actually guarantee you the answer as to why KS Time didn't win, because after talking to Eric personally, from what it sounds like, KS Time should have been untouchable. So for now, really, that part of Japan's pro scene remains a mystery to me, as not only can I not read Japanese and cannot speak to a lot of these players, but I'm limited to just watching the pro gameplay, and I'm not a pro myself, so I can't actually break down entirely what it is that was holding KS Time back, but I have heard it was possibly due to nerves of playing in a tournament of this level. Now, of course, as my only experience playing Brawlhalla competitively is going 2 wins and 2 losses in a community tournament, I would not succumb to the feeling of nerves. And with that lengthy professional background, I'm going to talk a little bit about Compton and Phaeton, the other 2 members of Nice Combo, the other 2 gods of the unknown region, Japan. I figured it wouldn't be too bad to say the title of the video, as my brain kind of loses track and I lose direction when I'm making these things. As for Phaeton, there's some pretty interesting things about him. Not only does he play really safe, which I think limits him a little bit, he plays Asuri, and what Asuri is really known for is downloading the reactions of your opponents and then punishing them after, you know, remembering the actions of your opponent. Basic fighting game 101. And you don't really see Asuri being picked online as much anymore because the reaction time to punish your opponent window is smaller, as there's latency between you pressing your keyboard and going to your computer and going through your Ethernet cable and going to the world and then coming back to you. As you know, online has a little bit of a delay to it rather than in person. So this leads to Asuri being a bit of a challenge as compared to someone like Lin Fei, who has all those dexterity points, who lets her kind of throw out moves with the reduced action frames and recovery frames, thus being less easy to punish and leading to a more spammy playstyle. And something I've been working on that Compton and Phaeton both do incredibly well is something called ledge dashing. Ledge dashing in Brawlhalla is a movement technique where half of your player model is above a ledge and the other half is beneath a ledge, and if you time pressing the dodge key correctly, it'll actually input a dash, which leads into a very unexpected movement option. But the risk is if you put the dodge key input at the wrong time when your body's at the wrong position relatively to the ledge, you'll burn your dodge, leaving yourself open to an attack, thus making the movement tech a very low reward to high risk option. And my point in bringing this up is regardless of where you are on this planet or what region you may be in, everyone is capable of learning and mastering these advanced techniques. And if they're using it in tournament, who knows what the bounds could be for Japan as a region or as Japan as a competitive threat. And the last thing I want to talk about is the guy who won the tournament, Compton. Not only did Compton play Queen Nai, but Compton in the beginning of Grand Finals didn't even play his original pick as kind of a power move to see if he could get away with playing one of his backup characters and still win the tournament. In fact, Compton was so good originally in the Japan scene that a few of the other pro players didn't actually like him all that much. This was mostly just banter, but of course Yohei Kong would eventually team with Compton, once again bringing peace to this world. So we can thank Yohei Kong and be thankful Yohei Kong is also not going to BCX, otherwise he'd win. And I actually have one strategy if Japan shows up to BCX to beat them. It requires some minor assistance from BMG, or maybe for STTP Wilson to come out of retirement so that he can use the green Ragnar skin. But if BMG can make a Godzilla crossover skin, I think you know what would happen. Okay? Hey, I know that humor's a little out there, you know, but you know what I'm talking about? Because that guy's undefeated against Japan, let me tell you. Other than that, like I said, I really hope that this Japanese tournament inspires more Japan players to play Brawlhalla, because I think as literally one of the strongest fighting game countries to ever exist, that like literally masters every single fighting game they touch, I think it'd be insane if Japan got into Brawlhalla, because that would be one step closer to getting anime crossovers for Brawlhalla. If you enjoyed this video or any of my terrible jokes, please consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment about what you think about Japan, or just me, or making fun of me. You know, any of the three, they all work. I appreciate all of them. You can find me on Twitch, where I'm now affiliated and stream. You can find me on Discord, where I have a server and spar people. And you can find me on Twitter, where I tweet about not having a girlfriend on a near daily basis. Once again, thank you all. If you're a pro player, or if I got anything wrong and you want to DM me about it, DM me on Discord, Vondakay, VONDAKAY, #4004, and you can go talk to me there. If you have any questions about the music, they should be in the description. Thank you guys all for watching. Hope to see you next time. Let me know what I can do better. Thank you.